I want to talk a little bit about social media and what it really is. And because I've noticed that a lot of people are still not really sure what social media is. So, briefly, I think we can draw parallels between how people used to congregate in the past, how people used to meet in the past, and how people are meeting today. So, for example, social media is a digital form, is providing platforms for people to meet in a digital way, whereas in the past, people used to meet in maybe the marketplace, maybe it was the church. So the platforms have changed. They've changed from being physical platforms to being digital platforms. Okay, so now some people get worried when they see the sort of postings that appear on the walls of their friends, and I think the only way you can really get irritated by maybe seeing what people are posting is if you are spending a lot of time scrolling down your storyline. In fact, your wall is basically you can decide whether you want to keep to your wall, or you can go to you can scroll down the news feed. So your news feed is basically the default way in which Facebook, for example, is presented. So when you get to Facebook, the first thing you will see is your news feed. And in your news feed, you will find the postings of a lot of your friends on there. And Facebook has an algorithm in which it decides what sort of accounts are appearing on your news feed. So the thing then that happens is that you can either do that, or you can just click on your own wall, in which case you have access to the comments on your wall and your postings. So that's like people like to stay in their lane, who'd spend most of their time on their wall. Now, people have been telling stories. If you remember in the past, there will be an aunt or an uncle or a grandfather who likes to tell stories, and we would congregate around them and would ask them questions about their stories, and they would give us answers. And now people are doing the same. They're just doing it to people that they think are their friends. So they are posting about their trips. Maybe they're at an airport, they take pictures, they take videos. But all it is stories. And you can decide whether you want to see that, or you stick to your own wall, in which case you only see what you post and the comments. If you're the sort of person who responds to comments, then you can always do that. So this is good news for companies, because then they know what people like, what people do. So if you're traveling, you're more likely to be a target for travel agencies, for airplane companies that want to sell you tickets for your next trip, for hotel accommodation, for entertainment and stuff like that. So that's what social media is doing. So there are always going to be winners and losers in social media. If you're in a consumptive mode, which means you consume a lot of content, then there's enough for you to consume on social media. If you're a content creator, that means you're creating content like this video that I'm just creating. It means that you also have an audience. You can reach a lot of people with your content. Okay, so that in short is what social media is about. It's just a meeting place for people, and Facebook will be famous today, but it may not always be famous. We know of social networks that have become derelict because people have just decided to move on. So it's up to Facebook to continue to keep the attention by continuously evolving, and I think they are doing that really well. and by also acquiring other platforms such as Instagram and WhatsApp. I think they've done a good job of trying to retain those numbers, because ultimately it's all about the numbers. It's all about the number of people who are congregating around a certain platform, and that's what brings advertisers to those platforms to advertise their products and services.